Lost on Lost Season 2, baby!
Hell yeah!
We've watched Seasons 1, 2, and 3 of Lost, and we've learned a lot.
Did we?
And we've learned to love Jack, Kate, Sawyer, Boone, and Claire.
Did we?
But now it's time for Seasons 4, 5, and 6.
That's right, we're still going to talk about the mysteries and mythologies of the island.
And obviously hot tropical hookups.
But now we're going to talk about things like the freighter,
The Others,
Charles Widmore,
The Lighthouse,
time travel,
9/11,
Ronald Reagan,
the Catholic Church,
Titus,
gold chains,
the military-industrial complex,
the prison industrial complex,
the void,
the orb,
and so much more.
So strap on and strap down, because if you thought last season was confusing,
This is going to be so much worse. Or better if you like being lost on Lost. Strap on?
you heard me.
Ooh, welcome everybody to Lost on Lost. Hey, I'm JP Russell, and I'm joined as always by a man who has fresh batteries in all of his smoke detectors, Adam Busher.
That's me, baby. It was recently daylight savings time. I feel like I've been hungover for a week straight, but daylight savings time is a good reminder to change the batteries in your smoke detectors. So take that home with you, folks.
My neighbors have one going off in their hallway. It's been for several days. I've never been closer to committing mass murder because I can hear it in my house.
Jesus.
But I don't care about those neighbors.
No.
Because we have everyone's neighbor, everyone's friend, everybody's pal, everybody's buddy. Hey, we got a guest, Adam.
Yeah. He's in my house. He's right there. I see him. I'm looking at him. I've invited him here into the Fortress of Solitude.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Luke Scorcio.
Oh, that's me.
That is it.
I would like to say you said everybody's friend, but I do have a lot of enemies.
And here they are.
Yeah, there's, yeah.
We're going to spend the next hour reading them off of the list. Luke has a legal pad in front of him.
Yeah, in a University of Wisconsin Oshkosh Career Services
Oh, nice.
thingy. Yeah.
Hey, what is an enemy but not a friend that you just haven't lied to enough? Speaking of people we lied to, Luke, thanks for coming on the pod.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm
Yeah.
alive. I've now watched an episode of Lost.
Yeah. Like you were just mentioning, an Oshkosh refugee out here in Los Angeles. You're a performer. You're an actor. You're all that stuff. You're a funny guy. Did you perform at the Backlot Comedy House back in the day?
Oh,
I
yeah.
did. Yes, one of the original
I
members.
was going to say, I thought that was the case.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, your picture was on the wall till the day they closed. Not that those things are connected. I'm just saying. You know?
What happened to those pictures? That was actually a really good picture of me.
I'll tell you what happened to all the Noah Totsky stuff. Kyla showed up at my house one night at 10 p.m. and dropped me off a box full of things with Noah's face on it. It was unexpected. Luke, well, first of all, tell our audience a little bit about yourself. You are a man of many talents, but I would describe you as an actor performer.
I am an actor performer, also writer.
Ooh, all right.
Yes.
That's a thing that I do. I perform improv at the PAC Theater out here in Los Angeles. You can see me on the first and third Sundays.
What does PAC stand for, just for the non-locals?
It's just like a wolf pack.
Oh.
It's like a pack. Like it's not an
okay.
acronym.
It's
but
not like Pacific Arts Council or something like that.
no, but it
Super PAC.
could be.
It could be. Okay.
Yeah.
No, but it's PACK.
Okay.
But I can see why that would be a thing. And actually, people do ask that. They're like, the pack? Like, what kind of? And I'm like, let's like the word pack.
Like the word pack.
You
Like
know,
pack,
Go
yeah.
Pack Go.
Go Pack Go, yeah. Everybody loves a champion.
Yeah, exactly. The best team in the NFL.
Right.
Yeah, sure. All right. Well, so Luke, tell us a little bit about your background with the television program Lost. Were you a fan? Have you seen it? Is this the first episode you're ever watching?
This is the second episode I've ever seen.
Hell yeah.
I watched the first episode like 8 years ago, probably, and then I watched this one on like Tuesday.
Okay.
So you watched the pilot. I mean, did you just kind of bounce off of it? Not really your cup of tea? What was it?
I don't know. It's like one of those things where I enjoyed it.
Sure, because it's a super good pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
I think I watched it like with a roommate. I think it was maybe one of those things where like, are we going to watch this together or are we going to watch this separately? And then the answer was we didn't watch it at all.
Oh,
And then
interesting.
you never saw that roommate again.
We have a bad rash of roommate relationships in the last two episodes. Tucci got his TV stolen by his roommate, and Luke's friendship with his former roommate got ruined by an episode of Lost.
Yeah. What the heck? It's rough.
The real thing I lost was that friendship.
Well then, Luke, when you're not watching singular episodes of a show that you've never seen, what sort of stuff do you watch? What's your content of choice?
Lately, more of a horror guy.
Okay.
I like television. I'll watch. I'll just like binge something and then I won't watch TV for a while. Like I watch a lot more movies than I do watch TV.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
The most recent show that I think I like watched all the way through was Interior Chinatown.
Oh,
sure.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good.
Do you have any good horror recommendations for the folks out there?
Favorite horror movie of last year, I think, was Maxine. Really liked Maxine, the third in the trilogy by Ty West.
Yeah.
I get scared very easily, so I have no understanding of horror at all. Like the last scary movie I watched was Carrie, and I watched it in college.
Hey. Do you guys want to talk about Lost?
Do you want to talk about Lost?
I so want to talk about Lost.
Luke, do you want to talk about Lost?
That's the only reason I'm here.
All right.
It's not to talk to you guys.
Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about a little episode of television called Something Nice Back Home. It is the 10th episode of the 4th season of Lost, the televisual program. It is the 82nd episode of the show overall. It originally aired on April 3rd, 2008. It was written by Edward Kitsis and Adam Horowitz, good old Wisconsin boys, and was directed by Stephen Williams. And in case you forgot, Stephen Williams' brother is Paul Williams, who played Apophis on Stargate SG-1.
Are you ever going to say Apophis correctly? Ever?
We'll find out.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Something Nice Back Home takes place on the 98th and 99th days after the crash of Oceanic Flight 815. JP,
Yes.
do you have a recap?
I think so.
Alrighty, well, give her.
Okay, so what are your symptoms? Well, I've got sweating, dehydration, abdominal pain, and I passed out. All right, well, in my professional opinion, you've been hanging out in Oshkosh, Wisconsin around 2008 too much. I'm going to recommend you have 3 Camel Lights and raise someone else's baby. On the island, Jack has a widow tummy ache, and Juliet must assemble medical supplies and a surgical team to perform a life-saving operation for Jack. The island cures most people's ailments, so that can only mean one thing. Jack is pregnant with an appendix.
Oh, pregonate.
Off the island, Jack and Kate try to play family like it's a Norman Rockwell painting. A drunken uncle father, a criminal mother, someone else's kid. Hey, is that some Percocet in the oven? If this island was trying to keep Jack here, it must really have wanted to keep Rousseau and Carl here. Let's talk about Something Nice Back Home here on Lost on Lost.
Jesus. I drink
T2J 0.00.
Nope, T2J instant. That's our time to Jack.
These are all metrics. Did you not get the list of metrics that we're tracking, Luke?
I didn't get the list of metrics that we're tracking. I did track one thing myself, though, while I was watching that episode.
Excellent.
And it's the amount of times they say Jack.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
So you got a Jack
I've
counter.
got a Jack counter.
All right, cool. Juliet wakes Jack up. I'm going to say this up front right now. This is one of those episodes where my notes are a little sparse
Okay.
because, in my opinion, not a ton happened.
That's what I thought, too.
But so, like, JP, you might have to do a little bit more color than you used to. Because, yeah, my notes for this scene are Juliet wakes Jack up. Bernard berates Danny and Charlotte about their deception, and then Jack collapses. That is my synopsis of this opening scene all the way up to the end, the beginning of the first flash forward.
Yeah. Well, so Juliet's waking Jack up, but his eyes are like already open. He's having one of those eyes open naps. And he's all out of it. He's disoriented. Something's going on.
Yeah.
You know how it is when you get woken up,
Yeah.
like out of a deep sleep, and somebody's just like, deal with something right now. But yeah, the survivors are arguing on the beach. Rose and Bernard are dealing with Faraday and what's her face. Juliet needs Jack to come be the only adult in the scene, which, is kind of ironic.
Yeah, seeing as how he has spent all of season 3, everybody hating the fact that he brought Juliet in the first place.
So basically, like, Bernard's giving it to him, being like, you people aren't here to help us. You guys are sinister. You're bad actors.
Yeah.
Rose calls Charlotte Red or something like that. Like, watch your tone, Red. And I was like, you fucking tell her what's up.
Get her, yeah.
Yeah, because they can't get a hold of the boat. They can't get a hold of the freighter. And it's like, well, why aren't they calling? And they're like, I don't fucking know. We've been here with you people. And basically, Jack has to come in and be like, all right, hey, everyone, just relax. We're going to figure this out. I know that they're lying, but their friends are going to come looking for them. We're going to figure it out. And he says something to the effect of, I've gotten us this far, trust me. And I'm pretty sure he was walking past the graveyard full of corpses at that point.
Yeah.
Trust me, everything's gonna be fine. There are dead bodies under every inch of ground on this fucking island.
It's a little comedic that after he finishes this "trust me, I know what I'm doing" speech, that he takes about 4 steps and collapses into the sand. How is your orientation here, Luke, having only seen 2 episodes of the show, this one and another one?
As in this moment right now, I have very little idea what is happening at all.
Okay.
Talking about a boat, I'm like, I don't even know what's going on with a boat. Is there a boat in this episode that I missed?
All right, yeah.
But I do know that in the opening scene, they say Jack 14 times.
That's so many.
Why have we not been tracking this all along?
Oh my God. Well, this is why we bring on professionals.
Luke, we've had other guests on that are in your similar situation where they've never seen an episode of this show and they're like, I'm learning these people for the first time. And they've gone whole episodes without ever saying a character's name. And they're like, I don't know what this person's name is. And then there's other times where they're apparently they're saying it 14 times in one fucking scene.
Unreal.
Outstanding.
All right, let's move forward into the first flash forward of the episode then.
Yeah, so we cut to our flash forward. Jack wakes up to his phone ringing.
Yeah.
Basically just his assistant or someone from the hospital being like, hey, I know you're fucking drunk and late all the time. Do you want to make sure you're here to do spinal surgery on time? And he's like, yeah, get off my fucking dick, all right? Like, Jane is the name of the person on the other end of the phone.
He crawls out of bed, puts on a towel, picks up a pair of underpants off of the ground,
I thought they were his.
heads down to the kitchen, gets some coffee going, puts a couple of wine glasses in the sink, and then goes back upstairs in his towel. The shower's already running.
I looked down for 2 seconds. I thought he poured the wine into the coffee maker. I don't know why.
Yeah, and so he's like, oh, hey, you want me to climb in there with you? And she's like, get away from me, pervert.
Who are you?
She's like, I bought you a razor. Oh, you don't like the scruff? No, I don't. Shave. You look homeless. Like,
in the words of Patton Oswalt, Loretta Swit had a bush you could hide a VCR in.
What I was, because then he goes and he picks up the razor and it's not in the package.
yeah.
I'm like, she bought him
Yeah.
a razor and then took it out of
Yeah.
the package?
Yeah.
That's weird,
Yeah,
right?
it's like some real trad wife behavior, just like, anything for my man. No struggles, no, whatever.
Well, it's either that or she found it at the gym. Like, ugh.
So it's Kate that's in the shower.
Yeah.
If you didn't recognize her voice, he opens the door and she's in there, and then they smooch.
It's so weird, like, TV kissing, because, like, I know how weird both of them are in real life.
On-screen intimacy is so funny because it has to be so specific and so directed to be
Right.
communicated to the audience appropriately. The way, like, say they were just kissing in their real lives, they wouldn't
Right.
have to worry about anything except the sensation they were experiencing. Whereas in this moment, Stephen Williams is behind Video Village and he's like, Jack, I actually need you to cheat your left ear out. And then, Evangeline, I need you to go the other way so that we can see your lips making contact because we're losing it. And then they're like, okay, this is very hot.
Can we get 30% more chub? 20.
Yeah. And Evangeline Lily's like, I'm freezing. I'm wet. This is horrible. Let's just get this and move on.
Lost card comes up. Not a great cold open.
Stunning. We remain in flash forward. Jack reads Aaron a bedtime story, and then Kate and Jack fuck. That's the
Yeah. This is the room that we've previously established that the bed is like too far away from the wall. The headboard's not up against the wall. It's like a foot away. And it's like, why is this kid's bed in the middle of the fucking room?
very strangely designed child's bedroom. Yeah. Kate very rarely has pants on in this episode.
I mean,
That's true.
not mad about it.
It's fine. It's totally fine. I just like I thinking back now, I'm like, I think there's one scene in which she's completely dressed. Otherwise, she's always in a shirt and underwear.
That to me is the sign that, because we're always thirsting over like Elizabeth Mitchell and, Mr. Echo. But I'm like, Evangeline Lilly is 10 out of 10, just a beautiful person, right?
Very pretty,
and she's always wearing clothes that are very fitting. And I'm just like, I fucking hate this person. Like, biologically, my lizard brain is like, you want to desire that. And then every part of my developed brain is like, she smells like a foot. So,
Oh, she says to him, like, oh, you're really good at this.
you're a natural.
Yeah, and Jack's like, am I? And then he has some shitty shit that he says about his dad, and then she's like, I never hear you. Or he said something nice about Christian. And then
my dad used to read me that book all the time.
He says, my old man.
Yeah.
My old man.
Yeah, and she's like, I never hear you say anything nice about him. And
She's like, it's so nice. Like everything is coming together for Kate right now. She's like, oh my God, we got off the island. I have a kid I didn't have to give birth to. I convinced Jack to like make this fake family with me. Like everything is coming up Kate right now.
I did, in my notes, I wrote, the kid is blonde. And then in parentheses, not his. So you can see my train of thought watching this episode.
Putting it together.
If I was
Luke's already putting the puzzle pieces together. Hell yeah.
trying to be smartest guest. That's
Luke Scorcio, podcast detective.
Yeah. Oh, hey, put that down on the spreadsheet. There we go.
Come back to the island?
Yeah, they're peeling Jack off the ground.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, what's going on, buddy? And he's just, I'm fine. Everything's fine.
I'm drenched.
I'm good. Yeah.
I felt weird for 2 days.
You fainted. I'm just, I got food poisoning. Like, okay, you're burning up. I'm fine. Like, why?
It's hot out here.
Yeah.
So at this point when watching it, I was like, is he dreaming? Because he was asleep. And then it's like, and then these flash forwards keep happening when he passes out. And I was like, is it supposed to be he's seeing these things and waking up from them?
Yeah, I suppose the nature of flashbacks, flash forwards, flash sideways is kind of lost when you're just thrown into it like this.
We cut to the jungle. Sawyer and Miles are escorting Claire and Aaron to the beach.
So Miles has one of his little
flashes
things, which again, I appreciate that it's not like overly CGI'd. We're just showing Miles in distress and the camera's just kind of acting erratically. Like it's a very cheap way to do the effect, but I'm glad it's not anything else. It's just because Ken Young can just like, he's like, no, just fucking put the camera on me. I'll act distressed. It's very simple.
He has a little freak out and he's like, wait, stop here. He says to Sawyer, like, who's Carl and Danielle? In the most expository dialogue of the episode, Claire's like, the French woman, Danielle Rousseau, played by Mira Furlan.
So Miles starts taking around on the ground and finds their dead bodies, which caught me off guard, man. That was uncomfortable.
My favorite thing is that because he does it twice, he brushes away some leaves and then walks over 1 foot to the obvious face sticking out of the ground that they were right by the whole time.
Very shallow graves. Rest in peace, Carl and Danielle. Sawyer just gives Claire some reassurance, like, everything's gonna be fine. Don't
worry about it. This is totally normal.
They weren't main cast. It's all good.
Rousseau should have been, but
should have been. This show should have been about Carl.
Yeah.
Imagine Lost from Carl's point of view.
I mean, this whole thing might just be like a Jacob's Ladder in Carl's.
Yeah. Carl's in a fucking ketamine LSD trip in room 23.
Yeah. They just St. Elsewhere at the end of this thing.
Yeah. Juliet checks on Jack. He says he's got food poisoning. He says he hates being sick. And she's like, lift up your shirt.
You're a fucking awful liar.
He's like, don't touch me, but go ahead. And she's like, take your shirt off. Take your pants off.
I think it hurts a little bit lower than that.
She's like, when did it start to feel bad? A day or so ago. Pokes him in thing. He's like, it's your appendix. Has it ruptured? He's like, nah, it's fine. I still have my appendix. Do you still have your appendix?
Oh, yeah, baby.
JP?
Fuck no.
Okay.
I could never.
JP, you don't have one? And you're, quote, fine. And quote,
the fuck does that mean? I was so good at math before they removed my appendix.
But the funny thing is, he's like, he can tell it hasn't ruptured yet. And I because I still have my appendix and I've never had appendicitis. Like, is that something you can feel? I imagine if it ruptured, you'd be really sick.
Am I the only one that anytime having this conversation with people, I'm like, oh, my side a little bit. Ow, it hurts. I got a little pain right now.
No, because
could that be it?
It's that Sanford and Son. It's like, oh, it's the big one. You guys are talking about the appendix. Like, yeah, all of a sudden my side's like, I'm like sitting here poking my side. I'm like, is my abdomen rigid?
Yeah.
Am I okay?
So you don't have to deal with this, JP. You're free.
Wait
I
off.
sleep like a fucking baby every night, knowing no fucking appendix is going to take me down. It was my intestines that tried to, and while they were in there, they're like, oh, what the fuck is this? Get rid of it.
You have to do an appendectomy on him on the island here, and so it's going to be a little bit rudimentary and kind of slapdash. So they got to get some supplies. So Juliet sends Jin, Son. She's going to send just Jin and Son to the staff, the medical station.
Son's like, I don't know what the fuck any of
It was
that.
the forceps. It was a scalpel.
There's so many little things in this scene because Faraday's like, well, I could help. Yeah, I've got some experience. And Juliet's like, you're a fucking physicist. Sit down, nerd. And he's like, yeah, well, I performed autopsies on a lot of animals. I was like, that still doesn't explain why you're doing that as a physicist.
I love that it's the things that were, it's like clamps and sutures.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like we could figure that out.
Yeah.
If someone was like, get the clamps and sutures, I'd be like, yeah, I think I can just look at a thing and know what those are.
That's kind of clamp-like. You grab a couple of those, handful of them.
Hey, what's a suture? Oh, it's a little rounded needle with some surgical thread. Got it.
Yep.
Charlotte has some shitty tone, and Faraday turns to her and is like, this is why no one likes us.
I loved that. Charlotte, this is it. Your
That right
your
there.
bad
Right
attitude
there.
is why nobody trusts us.
If Faraday was more like this more often, I'd be more on Team Faraday. Not that I dislike Faraday. I mean, I hate his tie, but
Right.
you know.
It's very, very funny that he calls her out like that.
Yeah, in front of
in front of
everyone.
everybody. Yeah.
Shuts her ass down, and she gets real pouty about it, too.
Yeah, she's like, yeah.
Juliet hands Jin a gun. Is like, they try anything. Fucking shoot him in the leg.
shoot him in
And
the leg.
Jin's like, fuck, yeah, got
Bet.
it.
Say less.
100%.
Yep.
You are talking to the right couple here. The right power couple for shooting people.
2A enthusiasts, Jin and Son. We cut to the jungle. My note here is a pointless scene in which Sawyer accuses Miles of peeping.
He's just looking at Claire and her baby because they're in the jungle and they have nothing to look at. He's like, I'm gonna put a boot in your ass. You're on a fucking, what did he say? Like a restraining order?
Yeah, give him 20-foot restraining order. I think the implication in here is Claire is holding the baby, and she's also holding a bottle of water, and the baby's fussy. And so I think they're trying to visually say, oh, Claire is about to feed the baby.
Oh.
And so Miles trying to catch a titty.
Cool.
And yeah, if this scene wasn't here, none of this,
Nothing changes.
nothing changes.
My question about this scene, is she tiny or is that a huge baby?
It's a huge baby.
Okay.
A little bit of both. She is also very tiny.
She's a small, but the baby's huge. Baby future linebacker.
There's a 6-year-old just going, wah, wah. Yo, has that baby got a mustache?
Come back to the beach.
Great little plot hole fixing scene.
Yeah. Hey, somebody in the writer's room was like, we established that the island heals people? Why is Jack sick?
I just pictured Kevin Heyer being like, hey, guys.
Hey, wait a minute. Rose had cancer, and now she doesn't. How come Jack has his appendix? People recover from gunshot wounds in like 3 days. How come Jack has
shut up.
appendicitis?
God damn it. We already got fucking 30 minutes of this thing written. Fuck. Yeah. Maybe there's a reason the island wants to keep Jack here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jack's trying to get away. The island's like, let's make him sick. That way he can't leave.
Man.
Rose and Bernard they're scrubbing down the operating table, and they have this conversation. Rose speculates, why is this happening? Whatever. Cut over to Jack.
I hated this.
He wants to stay awake for the operation. How are you going to be able to look at this? And he's like, have somebody hold a mirror. Anybody. Kate? Maybe Kate. Could have Kate.
It's got to be Kate. I would rather have shoelace Kate do the surgery than fucking take the advice of the qualified female doctor. People will do anything other than take the advice of a qualified female doctor.
she says, I have one other person here who also has at least some medical training. Bernard.
Yeah, rudimentary medical experience.
He's already in the episode. We're already paying him his episode fee.
Yeah, because what isn't Bernard like a dentist or something like that?
Yeah, he's a
or-
dentist, yeah.
Yeah, he can do a suture. No
Well,
problem.
he can assist, no problem.
Yeah.
Like Juliet's still gonna do the surgery. Bernard's gonna assist. And he's like, no, it's gotta be Kate. It's like, why? Dude, what? And this is another thing, not trusting a qualified medical professional. She's shaving his belly. And he's like, well, if you've done so many of these, you know that the incision's got to be about 2 inches lower than where you're shaving. She's like, I'm going to shave your entire fucking body if you don't shut up. Like, I'm going to shave your eyebrows off next. Like, shut your fucking mouth.
I was just like, why? There's a lot of close up of Matthew Fox's belly and shaving cream and a razor. I'm just like, I hate all this.
Flash forward.
Flash forward. Jack's just at the hospital and like, hey, you got to call. You got to go to Santa Rosa.
Hugo is refusing therapy and medication. That's what Dr. Stillman tells Jack. And they go in and Hugo is just sitting on the bed. So, Luke, the Oceanic Six.
All right, I'm gonna jump off the call while you get him up to speed real quick.
The Oceanic Six are 6 survivors of the original plane crash that got off the island.
Okay.
Hugo is convinced that the Oceanic Six, they didn't actually leave the island. They died and they're in heaven. Because he's like, Jack, how's your life? He's, I got my surgeon job back. I'm banging this pretty lady. I have a big house. I got a goofy Bronco. Hugo's like, I don't know, man. Kind of sounds like heaven, right? Jack's like, that's insane. Why would you say something like that? And he's like, I talk to my dead friend Charlie every day in the front yard of the mental hospital.
Don't worry about it.
It's all good. Charlie gave me a message.
He had me write it down just to make sure I got
Just
it
to
right.
make sure I got it right. And it says, you're not supposed to raise him, Jack. What do you think he was talking about? Maybe that baby? Possibly that baby?
I hope he doesn't mean my aloe vera plant.
Fucking raising my blood pressure. Then he also mentions that he's going to be visited by somebody real soon, which already happened. He saw Christian. It wasn't technically like a visit. It was more like, I saw him.
Right, yeah. But Jack's like, all right, I'm not having any of this. Take your fucking meds, dude.
Take your medication.
I'm out of here. I'm dipping.
Yeah. I can't put up with you. It's very tenuous because they've lied to everybody about how they got off the island in order to protect the people they left behind. And I got to imagine Jack's worried that because he was slipping here, he might not be able to keep up with the lie.
Right, he might let something slip, yeah. Cut back to the jungle.
Jin, Sun, Dan, and Charlotte arrive at the staff. The staff is a Dharma medical station in which they used to experiments on pregnant women.
My favorite kind of experiment.
Yeah. Hey, Luke, do you want to experiment on this lady? Of course not. She's pregnant.
There's like a little conversation outside of it. Charlotte's like, all right, I'm going to check it out. And Dan's like, wait, let me go first. I'll protect you. And then Sun and Jin in Korean are like, Dan has a crush on Charlotte. Do you think Charlotte knows? And Sun's like, women always know.
Uh-huh.
And Charlotte can obviously hear them.
Yeah, right.
Like, you see her listening to them and reacting to what they're saying.
Which that was how somebody, I forget who, clocked that Sun spoke English.
I think it was Kate.
I said something and you looked at me.
Yeah, you laughed.
You must speak English. And it's the same thing here where, they're talking in Korean and Charlotte just looks at him and Jin's like, you lying piece of shit.
Bitch. You bitch. You dumb bitch.
That's how Jin talks to a lot of women.
Yeah. He's getting better.
He's working on himself.
So, but then despite this all, like, let me go first and see if it's safe. The 4 of them arrive inside at the same time.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, me and Charlotte are going to go find the medical supplies. Jin and Sun, why don't you talk about what happened to Sun back in season 3? And they're like, that sounds good, break. Jin promises to get Sun and the baby off the island. Sun's pregnant.
Which is a big problem for being on the island.
Nobody survived giving birth on the island.
Could it be that the island thought the appendix was a baby?
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
There it is. It's like, we're going to kill Jack because he's pregnant with an appendix.
So Luke, and I know you're asking yourself, isn't there a lady with a baby in the next scene?
Yes.
If you conceive on the island, you cannot come to term. If you get pregnant off the island and get there late enough, you can have a delivery on the island. This is very rudimentary stuff. I don't know why you're looking at me so confused.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm stupid. All I can do is count the amount of times people say Jack. I really don't know anything.
But JP can't do that because he had his appendix removed. He's bad at math now.
Shit.
Son doesn't trust the freighter people. Jin's like, they have a boat. That's the thing. I trust that they have a boat, and we're going to use the boat, and that's that. I love you. I'm going to get you off the island. And she's like, whatever you say, dear. Cut to the jungle. Fuck, 3 men and a baby are just still walking through the jungle.
Walking around.
You can get anywhere in the island if it's important to the story in 10 minutes. They've been wandering around the jungle for 3 days. My only note here is Frank busts in.
Absolutely. Just doing, my dad always used to say, look where you're walking or walk where you're looking. And Frank's just running through the jungle like head down. And then he's, whoa!
This is Frank Lapidus, Luke. He's the helicopter pilot from the freighter. He's the one who is responsible for getting Dan and Charlotte to the island. Oh, also Miles. Yeah, he has a helicopter parked somewhere nearby.
Oh. when he showed up, I used to serve him at a restaurant I used to work at. I'm
Really?
Like, Jeff
What?
Chase.
No way.
Yeah, super nice guy.
That's fucking awesome.
I was like, I forgot he's in this show.
That's sick as hell.
Anyway.
Los Angeles really is a small town, man.
Did he have like a normal order that was weird? You're like, oh, this got like scotch and milk.
Nah, he did come in for a mimosa occasionally on a Sunday morning. One time during COVID, he came in and he ordered a bottle of wine. He drank 1 glass and then he was like, here, take the rest of the bottle.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
What a fucking G.
He's a nice guy.
I love Jeff Fahey. I loved him before, and I love him even more now. So yeah, Frank, he's got a medical kit, and he bumps into the 4 of them, and he's like, "Hey, the mercenaries are right behind me or nearby. You guys got to hide."
Yeah, they're 5 feet behind me.
Yeah. Sawyer, Miles, Claire, and the baby hide in a bush. Kimi and the mercenary team come in. One of the mercs is real fucked up.
Yeah, I wonder what that's all about.
I think he got smoked.
Oh, yeah.
Did you said you listened to the Kim episode of The Shape of Things to Come? Is that the episode where they fought at the barracks?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was a smoke. There was a smoke thing. There was a
so it was the episode right before that. That's why Sawyer and Miles and Claire and the baby are heading back to the beach.
There's no Locke. There's no Benry.
Locke and Hurley are on their way to the greenhouse.
Sure.
And yeah, the mercenary. So this guy survived the battle at the barracks after getting smoked.
Yeah, listen to that episode. I'm like, there's a smoke monster, there's explosions, and what do I got? An appendectomy.
Listen, they're not all fucking bangers, Luke. You know what? I was thinking to myself, I'm like, Adam said he didn't really like this episode. I thought it was pretty good. Now that you said that, Luke, fuck this episode. I'm sorry.
Kimi's like, we got to keep moving or whatever. And then the baby cries and almost gives him away. And then Kimi's like, what's going on? And Frank does a very, very good job of getting Kimi back on objective.
Yeah.
Does that thing that will placate an angry white man. Just call him sir a lot. Sir?
Yeah.
Sir. We need to get back to the helicopter. It's going to be dark soon, sir. Sir?
That's how they get me to leave the Chinese buffet. They are 6 inches away from each other.
Yeah.
And Kimi does not see them.
No. He's a bad mercenary.
Yeah, he's not.
He doesn't know how to fire a weapon. Yeah, he can't spot the 4 of them in a bush right there.
This is one of the things in the episode that I was like, I got no idea who these people are and why they want to be away from each other and any of these relationships.
Yeah.
I'm not even entirely sure, Luke, so don't worry about it.
Come back to the beach. Surgery is ready. Oh, Dum Dum walks out of the thing, and they're like, stop! He's like, I can walk 50 feet. I'll be fine. Like,
It's fine.
50 feet is like kind of far.
if you're
Right?
like when you're if you're not feeling good, if you're feeling like if you're sick, you're under the weather, whatever. Like, I remember last time I wasn't feeling great. It was a struggle to go from my couch to my bed, and that's like 15 feet.
Yeah.
50 feet. Dehydrated, food poisoning, appendicitis, all happening all at the same time. Like,
I was sitting on my couch last night with my laptop on my lap, and it warned me that my battery was about to die. And it was literally 3 steps away from me, and I just watched the computer die. I'm good.
you're like, I'm not.
See how long it can go.
Kate helps Jack walk to the table, and they talk. He's about to be like, Kate, if anything happens to me, she's like, shut the fuck up. He's like,
Whatever.
yeah,
Not interested.
good point.
Yeah.
Flash forward. This was a weird sort of like I imagined cutting this shot out. Like, what happens if you cut this scene of him sitting outside the hospital out and just go directly to the house? How does it change the context of the episode? And I was like, okay, I think you do need it. Not for the story, but to establish that when you leave the previous Santa Rosa scene, he's still in the room. And this gives us a moment of, like, he's reflecting on what Hugo said to him before he goes home to catch Kate obviously cheating on him.
Right.
Or just having, like, a very innocuous phone call with a mom from the park.
Well, no, she's asleep when he comes home.
Oh, is that this scene?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He comes home. Yeah. She's asleep.
Santa Rosa's a choice, though, because, like, if he was just in the kitchen with the ring, you'd be like, oh, man, he's so nervous. Him being outside of Santa Rosa is like, no, I don't believe what Hurley's telling me.
Yeah.
I'm doubling down on this life.
Sure, yeah.
Like, maybe I don't want to marry Kate right now, but I'm going to do that so it feels more normal to me.
Yeah, that's fair. Because, yeah, he wakes Kate up, and she's like, what's up? And he's like, I had to go pick something up or do something with her. And she's like, oh, okay, do you want to have sex again? Because that's basically the only thing they do in this episode.
Yeah.
He asks her to marry him and pulls out a ring. And she's like, oh, my God, of course I will.
He's like, when you said I was good at it, did you mean it? She's like, yeah, I guess. Like, yeah, you're good at storytelling.
Yeah, you can fucking read. Well done. I was very impressed.
Piano and paper airplanes too.
Yes, you're very big and strong, Jack.
No, okay.
Yeah, it's a doubling down. Yeah, it's like trying to buck Hurley's prediction.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Did you find this romantic at all, Luke?
No.
Okay. Just checking.
Take one of Adam's boner pills and watch the scene again.
No.
Then let me know if you find it erotic.
Those are 15 cents a piece. Are you kidding me? I can't share those.
Wait, did you say romantic or erotic? Hold on.
Oh, first one then the other. Actually, yeah, let's take a couple of boner pills and see if we can change erotic into a romantic.
Or vice versa.
What do you think romance is?
50 cents in generic Viagra and a half a bottle of wine.
Yeah, it involves someone who is not my wife shaving my belly.
Now, when Jeff Fahey gave me the rest of his bottle of wine, romantic.
Yeah.
That's
You should call him.
Come back to the beach. The A-team. What constitutes an A-team here in season 4 returns. Jin Sun, Danny, Charlotte. They're like, do you have the stuff? And they're like, yeah, it was actually pretty clear what the stuff was, and here it is.
Super easy.
It's actually all labeled.
Also, why do they not just have the stuff there? Isn't that like really basic stuff that you would want to have?
That's a great question.
Hey.
That's an excellent
Luke,
question, Luke.
Fantastic question. Hey, we know where there's this whole place full of surgical stuff. It's about a day's walk there and back.
No, I didn't think of that until just now. That is they rat fuck everything else. Why didn't they rat fuck the staff? Like,
another lovely little scene here with Jin where he's like, hey, Charlotte,
I know you
fucking speak Korean, you trifling ass bitch. And she's like, sorry, I don't speak Korean. He's like, I'm gonna break every one of those fucking bony little physicist fingers if you don't stop fucking lying to me. And then she started speaking Korean. I was like, God damn it, Jin,
So
you
good.
did it again.
so good.
I love, though, that, like, because she barely looked at them when they were talking about it.
Yeah, it was,
Right.
Yeah, her reaction to the earlier conversation was very subtle. Like I almost didn't catch it.
Yeah, I didn't catch it at all. And then when that happened, I was like, she knows how. I rewatched the episode and I was like, I guess she did kind of look at them.
Yeah, it's almost like she just looked at them because they were making noise.
Yeah.
So the writers wrote these two characters. One's named Jin, and he's like super cool and hot, and he's a human bullshit detector. And then there's this other guy named Saeed, and he's super cool and hot, and he's a human bullshit detector. And the writer's like, oh, we made these guys too hot and cool and good at everything. So we need to do something with them. So they made just everyone racist, and Saeed can't be a brown man in America, and Jin can't speak English. So
they got some notes from the network. It's like, please nerf Jin and Saeed, and that's how they did it.
Yeah.
He threatens her. He's like, yeah, you've won fucking job now. Now that I'm blackmailing you because you can speak 2 languages. Get my wife and baby off the island. She's like, what about your friends? And he's like, it's a helicopter. We can't put 40 people on a helicopter. Get her and him off first, and then we'll see. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll worry about it when we get to it.
Yeah. Get my wife and her pregnant ass off of this island and make one trip.
Yeah.
Wait, is there a reason that like it's weird that she can speak Korean?
No.
Like is that like there's not
No.
that doesn't complicate anything?
No.
I was like, oh, this is a big deal, and like she's been hiding this, and what does that mean?
No.
Okay.
There was the inverse of that, where Sun spoke English and didn't tell anyone, and all it meant was that she was about to kiss someone that wasn't her husband.
But Charlotte knowing Korean has no effect on anything, except for it allows this scene to happen, which is great.
Yeah, it gets Sun onto the helicopter first, which, like, I don't know. There's a case to be made for, like, hey, let's get the people most in need on the helicopter first, like the pregnant woman or the woman with a baby.
Yeah, even without threats, I feel like helicopter trips happening, Claire, Aaron, Sun are probably on the first trip regardless.
Top of the list. Doesn't all of this exposition make you want to watch the show now, Luke?
Oh yeah, I'm like, man, how have I not watched that? No, the last episode with the smoke monster and the explosion made me want to watch the show.
Looks like this podcast is gonna be great.
Juliet, Bernard, Kate, and Jack start the surgery. Bernard's like, hey man, are you sure you don't want me to knock you out? I have some chloroform. I found it and I have it. It's right there. And Jack's like, nah, man, I'm gonna be all right.
Nah, it's
fine. So he shoots him with the lidocaine and he goes, I wish I could tell you that you're not gonna feel anything. That is not the case.
This is gonna suck.
This is gonna suck the most. So like I imagine the first incision's probably not that bad because he did get lidocaine, so he can probably feel some pressure and stuff like that, but probably doesn't hurt. But then she's got to cut through like his abdominal muscles and stuff to get to the organ.
To get the spreader.
Yeah,
Ugh.
and that shit looked like it hurt.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things in the scene is that before she makes the incision, she says, here we go.
Here we go.
Like if the doctor said that before, he's like, here we go. I'm like, I know. I thought it was a hilarious thing to
It's
say.
reminiscent of Dr. Nick from The Simpsons. Like Homer's about to go out, and as he's passing out, you hear him go, what the hell is that?
That's what happened when I had to get my second circumcision. The doctor said, here we go. And then he pulled out a machete.
Jack is out of control. He's in a blinding amount of pain.
I want to
The
say
lidocaine, it did nothing.
I loved this scene so much. This was my scene. In
He's
the episode.
drenched. Everybody's freaking out.
And she's like, David, Bernard, Kate. Everyone just says everyone's names for like a couple minutes.
Kate, you get out of here. No, Kate, stay. Jack, calm down. Juliet,
David, Bernard,
Scott, Steve.
Luke's got one of those like sports clickers. And he's just
Oh man, this seems buck wild. And then eventually Juliet takes charge. She's like, "That's it, Kate, get the fuck out of here. Bernard, knock him out."
And Bernard was like, fuck yeah. I've been waiting for this.
It's like, "I'm sorry, Jack." Bam. And it's television chloroform, so he is knocked out immediately.
is that not how it goes?
No, apparently chloroform takes a couple minutes to knock somebody out, even if you like, even with a rag on your face, like
And you know this.
I looked. It's like in TV trivia, like it comes up anytime somebody gets chloroformed on TV, and you go on the internet, and some nerd's like, "Well, actually, chloroform takes."
All right. But you've never chloroformed anyone.
So we come to the next scene.
How do you think he got me to this podcast for 5 years?
The next flash forward, Jack's just he's taking some notes on some X-rays, and he hears a beep. I thought it was my own smoke detector, and then I was like, "It can't be. I just replaced my battery."
Again. I was like, "Fuck, I'm gonna kill him."
He hears the unmistakable beep of a dying smoke detector, which would not happen in a hospital. Hospital smoke detectors are connected to the electrician. Like
precisely,
it's not. They don't have smoke detectors like a house, so it's just a convention to get into the lobby. I guess
there wasn't like a significance. That was another thing. I was like, oh, this smoke detector's got to be a significant thing going on.
Luke is like, oh, here comes the smoke monster.
It's the smoke detector. Here it comes. There's a smoke monster. I'm amazed. Okay, so Luke is like in this episode. You're like Charlie from Always Sunny with the yarn and the Pepe Sylvia, but nothing's on the board yet because you're like, is this Oh, it's not important.
Yeah.
Is this important? Oh, no, it's not. And so you get the end and there's just like one piece of paper pinned to the thing and it says, go to 7-Eleven later. He heads out to the lobby and Christian is sitting in the lobby and it spooks the shit out of him. He's like, oh my God, my dead father.
And then, do we get this woman's name?
It's Erica. But yeah, she comes out. She's like, Jack, you okay? He's like, oh, I was just fixing the smoke detector. And she's like, that smoke detector doesn't need to fix. It's connected to the hospital's fire suppression system. It's It's not like a house. He's like, hey, do you have any pills?
He's clearly distressed and like
He's
on
on
the verge of
tears.
yeah. And he's like, hey, can you write me a prescription for some downers? And she's like, anything for you, white doctor man.
Does she say getting engaged is supposed to reduce stress?
Yeah.
Is that doesn't seem like a thing that would be
I don't
true.
think that that's true because from what I know, like even if you're enjoying the process, preparing for a big event like a wedding is stress inducing.
Yeah.
You've got to call vendors and schedule appointments for fittings and flowers and photos and write invitations and figure out who's going. If only we had somebody that we could talk to who is planning a wedding. JP, wait, do you know anybody?
Listen, I love my fiance very much.
Shout out
Kai.
to Kai Werner.
Don't
we
worry,
love
she
her.
doesn't listen to the podcast. There was a night we were designing our save the dates, and the two of us have somewhat of a background in graphic design, and we were having not an argument, but a very pointed discussion over the opacity of a drop shadow. Getting engaged is not stress relieving by any stress of the imagination. When we're sitting there on Pinterest and we have a whole board of just plate chargers, and I gotta choose between 40 plate chargers, I'm stressed out of my mind. Hey, I could use some downers.
Do you need some downers?
I do. I need my neighbor to change the fucking battery in the smoke detector.
Clonazepam. It's like, can you write me a script for clonazepam? And she's like, holy shit. Sure.
Let's just see where this goes.
Doctors are awesome.
One script ain't gonna kill him.
Yeah,
if
he'll
he comes back like 4 or 5 times, we'll have a conversation.
Yeah, he takes it immediately to the photocopier.
Also, like, she just like has it in her pocket. Her patch is just like
Yeah, just in her
prescription,
purse,
just
yep,
like,
it's like-
just in case I'm out and about.
Yep.
I need to write a prescription for somebody.
She's like, I always keep that thing on me.
Here you go, spooky ghost man. Sure hope you like Percocet.
Now make sure to leave some Percocet out for Christian.
Cut back to the house.
Yeah. Jack comes home, and this is the thing where Kate's on the phone, and he's like, who was that? It's like, it was Noreen from the park. He's like, I don't believe you. It's like,
It's CVS. Your prescription's ready.
he's like, hell yeah.
I also love getting engaged to somebody that you walk in and you're like, you're having a conversation with someone. Who could it be? Yeah. Like, he is, and maybe, I don't know these characters. I'm like, does he have a reason to not trust her at all?
No.
But also,
The reason he has is irrational. So I think the answer is no. Because the reason, he has a reason, and in his mind, it's a perfectly legitimate reason. To anybody outside of it is like, you're an insane, paranoid dude. Yeah, the other thing I would distrust Kate if I were Jack would be she has horrible taste in men.
yeah, and countertops.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I can come by for an hour. I'll have the nanny stay like an extra hour. She's not saying like, ooh, yeah, I'll get I'll get a nanny for a weekend and I can tell Jack that I'm going to sneak away to Vegas for 3 days or whatever. Like, she's like, I'm going to stay out an extra hour and I can get the nanny to stay for an extra hour. And she's like, it's fine. Don't worry. But it was mom from the park. And he's like, all right, honey, I believe you. And she's like, come to bed. I don't have pants on. And he's like, I will do that. I'm going to take 3 recreational Viagra, 2 clonazepam, and I'm going to chase it with a beer. I will be right up. And I'm gonna give you the best 3 minutes of your life.
I feel like that was a thing in older TV shows and stuff where people love to take pills with beer.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I haven't seen that in a while, but that was like, oh, this dude's kind of badass. Took some pills with a beer.
Yeah, he's on the ragged edge. He's taking medication with alcohol.
Yeah.
Look, I'm gonna let you in on a little bit of secret. If you mix alcohol with pills, you need less of both.
At the end of season 3, we saw Jack, and we've seen him in season 5, drunk, fucked up, just like totally. And so, like, this is the beginning of that slide right here. This is the moment where it's like, okay, it's not even Kate's behavior. The warning from Hugo and then hallucinating Christian has given him the reason to start getting fucked up. Being fucked up makes him paranoid. Come back to the jungle. Claire wakes up and sees Christian holding Aaron.
Next scene. Cut to outside the surgical tent.
Bernard comes out to Kate and says, everything's fine.
Went real good.
If the patient's unconscious, very easy to do. Couple of minutes, cut it open, find the thing. It's usually easy to see because it's inflamed. It's this big red flashing organ that we cut it off and stitch it up, and We've got a perfectly capable surgeon who can handle an appendectomy. Patient's asleep. Very, very easy.
Kate goes into the tent. Juliet's finishing up some stitches.
Stitching him up.
And she's like, yep, everything went pretty good. You know, all things considered, he's going to be fine. Don't even worry about it. I put some sand in there. He might make a pearl, but, you know, whatever. She's like, hey, real girly talk here. Sorry I yelled at you, but you did need to get the fuck out of my surgery room. And she's like, yeah, don't worry about it. Like, hey, by the way, Jack kissed me. Just offers that up out of nowhere.
I like that she goes, it was nice.
It's nice.
It was nice, but I don't think it was for me. I think it was for him. And Kate's like, well, obviously. Everything Jack does is for him. Like,
for him.
Sort of self-centered and narcissistic. And Juliet says, I think he was trying to convince himself that he's not in love with somebody else. And Kate's like, Rose?
Johnny Walker?
Percocet?
She thanks her. She's like, hey, thanks for letting me know or whatever.
Thank you for reconfirming for like the 9th time that Jack has a crush on me.
Yeah, neat.
Cool.
She leaves and she's like, I know you're awake, dipshit. Like, pokes him in the appendix, you know?
Ow! Why was he pretending to sleep?
And then why did she? I don't know. Yeah, it's such a weird thing to add into it. Like, the scene would have been fine, but then, I know you're awake.
Yeah.
It's like,
Cut to the flash forward. Jack get fucked up. He's had a couple of beers. He's had a bottle of wine.
Couple of couch beers.
Yep. And Kate comes in and she's like, what are you doing home? You usually don't come home until like after 8 and it's like 6:30 or whatever. It's they're very pointed about what time it actually is. And he's like, I don't know, slow day at the hospital. Where were you?
I lost a patient. I got out early.
Yeah. And she's like, I don't want to tell you. Drop it. Let's let this be one of those things.
Professional con woman couldn't fucking come up with I was having drinks with Mary Sue, who's my friend, because I need friends because I've been fucking cooped up with this baby while I sit here and play fucking housewife so you can have a career as a surgeon. Throw it back on his ass.
Yeah.
I was very confused because I thought this was the same day as the previous flash.
That's the phone call.
Because it's like he's one beer and then he's sitting. He's wearing a very similar suit and then sitting and there's a bunch of beers. And I was like, I was like, oh, it's the same day. And then I had to go back and see that he's wearing different things. I was like, oh, I think it's a different day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it was absolutely filmed on the same day. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, it could just be an extension of the beginning of that bender. Yeah, for sure. He continues to badger her, and she admits that she was running an errand for Sawyer. Sawyer asked her to do something for him before he jumped off the helicopter. We've seen this in the future. So the thing that she is talking about happens in an episode chronologically that comes later, like the finale of season 4.
Right.
I definitely wrote down who is Sawyer.
He's a character you've actually met in this episode
He's
several times.
Really?
He's the blonde dude.
The big gun traipsing through the jungle with the...
that's Sawyer.
Yeah, that's he gets mad and he's like, he made his choice to stay, and I saved you. I saved you, so you can't think about him anymore. I won. And she's like, you're hammered.
That's fucking buck wild, my dude.
And that's an insane thing for you to say. And you cannot be around my son when you're like this. And he's like, your son? Wait, let me wait till the kid's in here. All right, there he is. You're not even his real mom.
The kid was probably just upset because he's like, there's 2 people talking about. I never see that man. He's always in surgery. Like,
yeah, I hear his voice occasionally as I'm drifting off to sleep, but I've never seen what he looks like.
I've never heard them talk. They're just always having aggressive sex in the next room.
Yeah, she's like, you can't be around anymore. You're too drunk. And he's like, all right, fine. I'm drunk. You're drunk. Everybody's drunk. Let's get out of here.
Does that child, is this the first that they've heard that these are not its parents?
Probably. Also, it's a toddler. It's the same baby. It's Aaron, the infant. It's the same baby.
They call it a baby. That kid's like 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
They definitely, at one point in this episode earlier, she's like, oh, like feeding the baby. I'm like, that kid is not a baby.
That baby, that child walks around. It's probably talking.
Yeah, he can understand that's not your real mom. I feel like he knows.
Yeah, the only thing I would think is that it's perhaps young enough in his life that as he grows older, he might forget it. It might be a memory that he doesn't hold on. But it's a pretty traumatic thing to hear. So I don't feel, so like, I've forgotten a lot about my childhood because a lot of my childhood was pointless child shit. But if I heard as a 4-year-old that my dad wasn't my real dad, I'd probably hang on to that.
My nieces are locked into every word that comes out of my mouth. I'll be like, that's a Nissan Altima. They're like, what's a Nissan Altima? And I'm like, let's get peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And they've forgotten that we were even talking about Nissan Altimas.
But yeah, I think this would be a revelation to Aaron.
I feel like that would be a thing. Like once he goes to school, people are like, you don't look
you
like
look
your
at-
parents at all.
But like you said, the kid's probably in school. He's probably a junior. Jack's like, yeah, you're right. I wanted to make this work, but it turns out I like drinking and pills more than I like being a husband and a father. So see ya.
I'm leaving this early 2000s faux Tuscan house and never coming back.
Go to the jungle.
Miles is like stoking the fire, whatever, it's smoldering. He's like, hey, what's going on? And Sawyer's like, it's too early for Chinese.
Lord
Fuck you,
Almighty.
Man. But he's like, where's Claire? And he's like, fucking no. You told me to fucking mind my bit. That is
Restraining
a
order.
white lady problem. That is not my fucking jam.
You put me on 20-foot restraining order, and then he smiles at him. He's like, this is your fucking shit, man.
Your problem, my dude.
They hear the baby crying. Sawyer runs off, finds Aaron sitting in the roots of a tree, picks him up, starts shouting for Claire. Claire! 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 Claire's nowhere to be seen.
You missed the most important thing he does, which is shove the baby's face into his chest.
Oh, yeah.
And hold it there for a long time. And I'm like, that baby is suffocated.
Into the supple breasts fucking
of Southern Cajun hero Sawyer James Ford LaFleur. And that's the end of the episode. Something
Lost.
nice back home.
Did we like it? Was it good?
Excellent question.
That's the question we need to answer. You can like something that sucks. You can hate something that rules. Luke, why don't you start us off? Let's talk about what you thought about Something Nice Back Home.
Oh, wait, before we get to that, what is the final tally on the Jack counter?
Episode is 43 minutes, I believe.
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah.
The Jack counter, it was 41 times.
Wow.
I was really hoping it was going to be more than one a minute.
It came
close.
It's stunning, though, that 14 of those came in the opening 5 minutes of the show.
That's buck wild. Hey, thanks for putting in the work, Detective Scorcio.
And yeah, I don't know if they said Sawyer's name once.
yeah.
Amazing.
And I think it's like it might be it's like the first like 4 words of
Jack?
It's Jack.
Jack?
Yeah.
Jack?
Which is why I
Jack?
was like, and then people are like Jack, and then like where's Jack, and then it was so many Jacks. I was like, I gotta count
That's
this.
so many. All right. Did we like it? Was it good? Thoughts, Luke?
I watching the episode, I kept thinking, I'm like, is this one of the good ones or is this one of the bad ones? And I have no concept of this show and whether like this is meaningful. So whether it's good or not, I have no idea.
Okay.
Like, I don't know the show for the time. Maybe it's good. Maybe it's not. Maybe this is important character because a lot of kind of character stuff I feel like going on in relationship, kind of learning little
relationship
things
stuff.
about relationships with people
Yeah.
that I have no concept of if those things are important or not.
Sure. Yeah.
So was it good? Maybe.
Sure.
Did I like it? Not really.
Yeah.
Not that it's bad.
Yeah.
If somebody just was like, do you want to watch the next one? You'd be like, hard pass.
I'd be like, I'm intrigued to watch the show.
Okay.
I probably will at some point.
Sure.
This episode didn't make me more intrigued to watch the
Okay.
show. I
Yeah,
would say.
sure. That works.
Yeah, I was already like, oh, I want to watch that show sometime. And this was like, oh, I guess some of it's going to be boring.
Damn, is it too late to change like the subheader of the name of the podcast?
Also lost. Some of it's going to be boring.
Some of it's gonna be boring.
JP, what do you think?
This was a bad episode that I did like.
Okay.
This is not a good episode of television, and Christ, the way Luke put everything sort of into context, like, hey, there's fucking all sorts of supernatural shit. We're doing an appendectomy. That's brilliant. But there was enough things where like I found myself not being bored by it, but like it's not good. you could probably take this episode, except for Claire going missing, and I don't think anything really changes on the island.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of the fallout after this about why Kate is so mad and why Jack is so drunk all the time, and I feel like this is really the key for that storyline. But no, probably not good, but I enjoyed watching it for, this podcast.
Sure.
Adam.
This episode, for me, suffers from that thing that all prequels suffer from, is that we already know what's going to happen. And it's not even because of the problem of watching season 5 and 6 episodes out of context, watching the show out of order. In the episode itself, just these 45 minutes, we know that the chronological viewer knows that the Jack-Kate scenes are flash forwards. He's going to survive the appendectomy. So the tension of the appendectomy is gone. There's no tension to it because I know it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
He might suffer some complications during it, but ultimately he'll be okay. So I know that, and so that sucks all the tension out of the surgery aspect of the story. I really liked the Jin Charlotte scene, reminding us that, Jin is very much focused on getting son and the baby off the island, and he'll do anything to make that happen. I like the Claire disappearing thing, and I like the Hugo Jack scene in which Hugo sort of accidentally starts Jack's spiral. Everything else around it, whatever. It's entirely possible that this episode suffered from the upcoming writer strike. They had to shorten season 4 because the writer strike was doing, so they might have had to rush some things, put some stuff where they might not necessarily wanted to put it if they would have had, 3 or 4 more episodes for the season. I personally was bored during several parts of it. Is the episode on the whole boring? I can't say it was fully boring because of the 4 scenes that I mentioned. Sure. Those are only useful to somebody who has watched other episodes of the show. So, I think this is like my 4th episode in a row giving an episode a meh, but I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Tossing a meh on it.
Can I just say, because you were saying about like the tension of the appendectomy, and while watching this episode, I didn't know if the like flash forward stuff was a dream.
Sure, yeah.
I didn't know if that was the past, right? I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he's going to survive the appendectomy because of that.
Yeah.
And there was never a moment in that episode where I thought he was going to die. There was not even the slightest thing when I was like, this could go badly.
Yeah.
Like there was no tension in that at all. For me, for a
that's
single
fair.
moment.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
That's very good. All right, well let's hand out some awards, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it. The Lost
Very
MVP.
Good. Yeah, who's your favorite? Who's taking first place? Who was your favorite person, place, thing, or idea in the episode? Who are you giving the gold star to, Luke? Start us off.
I loved Jeff Fahey coming in there for that one little scene, and I could be like, I know this guy. That's the one character I got a relationship with, and it's not from the show. Anyway. It was a fun little moment, and I'll give it to him.
All right, yeah, Frank, fuck yeah. Love Frank.
Honestly, the only 2 bad things we ever have to say about Frank on the show is that he shaves the goatee and that he wears epaulets a little too long into season 6. Other than that, gets away flawless.
No notes, JP, what do you say?
Jane the receptionist. She knows that this guy is irresponsible, that he's going to miss a very important spinal surgery. So she's like, hey, I'm just calling. I'm giving you 90 minutes to take a shower and drink some coffee. Get your ass into surgery, dipshit. Jane the receptionist. She's great.
Love it.
Adam.
Jin for threatening to break Danny's fingers.
Oh, man, I forgot about that. Yeah. I'm not going to change it, but that's a real good answer.
I loved that scene. That was the one scene in which I thought that I felt genuine tension. Danny Day Kim is great. I think that Charlotte, Rebecca Mader, is a good scene partner with him there. But like he does so much good work in that scene and all his line delivery and everything. It's just like, I'm going to break every single one of his scrawny little fingers one at a time. And it's like unhinged, but still in control. And I thought it was great. So I'm giving it to Jin.
That's a fantastic list.
Yeah, that's a great podium.
The flip side of the coin, the Lost Forever. Who was your least favorite? Who was King Suck a Shit Mountain? Who did you really not like? Luke, please start us off. Who was your Lost Forever?
I think honestly, Jack. Like the thing with the making her hold the mirror and wanting to be in control of everything and whatever. I was like, I don't like this guy. Maybe that's one of the reasons I didn't like the episode too.
Sure, because it was
like,
Jack focused.
I was like, this guy just seems lame.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, JP.
Yeah, non-ironically, I also had picked Jack. I think that is the point of this episode. I think this is his downfall, and we are not supposed to like him. But I think the episode does a great job of making me fucking hate this guy.
Yeah.
And after this, he has to do all the healing, and he becomes a much better person and character and a little less insane. But yeah, he makes every fucking wrong move in the book right here. So yeah, Jack.
Yeah.
Adam.
Yeah, Jack.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, the weird thing with the Kate surgery thing, the paranoia, like he could do such a better job of trusting somebody like Hurley, Hugo, who has been a confidant, somebody who cares about throughout all of the show prior to this. But regardless of any of that history, he's his friend and should be acting like a caretaker. And all he does is he lets Hugo's warning spin him out entirely. Yeah. That and how many times do you need to have something supernatural, metaphysical happen to you before you start to believe? This is not even remotely close to the first time you've seen your dead father, a vision of your dead father. The first vision of your dead father led you to water and saved your life on the island. Start to believe. To believe. But yeah, you got to hit rock bottom before you can climb back up and all that. So, but yeah, like you said, I think we're supposed to hate him in this episode, and I fucking did.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a good episode.
Maybe
after all.
Oh shit! Maybe you're right.
Achieved its stated objective.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
There we go. Luke, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Pleasure was all ours.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but Luke, I know you as a man of many talents, and I would say that you are a very talented mixologist. Is there anything you could recommend to folks for like a pairing for this episode if they had to have a cocktail that sort of reflects how you felt experiencing this?
I don't think a quart of Everclear is an IBA certified cocktail.
Man, what would I do? Because I would want to do something with pills and also, little beer.
It's like if you want to do like the kitty cocktail version of Jack's thing, just like take 2 aspirin and a Miller Lite.
Well, you also could do the you could just call it the Jack's appendix, but you do like a brain hemorrhage shot with you take peach schnapps and then you pour some Baileys in it.
Oh, okay.
And a little bit of grenadine for blood.
Yeah.
That would also be a good one.
There you go. Yeah, Jack's appendix shot. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, when you're like, I don't know, I'm thinking something with booze and pills. I'm like, there's a cocktail done. Yeah, okay. 2 ingredients finished.
Luke, why don't you tell the audience out there where they can see if you are an LA local?
Oh, you could come on down to the Pack Theater,
which is not an acronym.
It's like a wolf pack. We're over in Hollywood, Hollywood and Vermont-ish.
Oh, okay.
Got a big parking lot.
Nice.
If you want to park some car, go see some improv. First and third Sundays at 7:00. Part of the improv team, Pretty Ugly.
All right.
I've been privileged enough to have briefly shared the stage with Mr. Scorcio, and I can tell you he is a funny performer. So get out there and go see him.
Luke and I have acted in the same shows together. I don't think we ever had any scenes together.
Yeah, I don't think we
God.
did.
I understudied for you one time in My Soldiers.
Oh, wow.
But Luke is a very talented performer. So, yeah, if you're in the LA area, head on over to the Pack Theater and check him out. Do you want to mention your socials or don't?
Oh, absolutely. If you want to see some cocktail recipes sometimes, my Instagram is Luke Scorcio. That's just my name.
All right, cool.
And look forward to maybe seeing Luke in some boner pill commercials in the not too distant future.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, fingers crossed. He'll be after. They got some other schmo for before.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a reputation in town, Luke the Towel Rack Scorcio.
JP, what are we watching next time?
Jesus H. Christ.
Yeah,
Adam.
yeah, let's hear it. Let's do it. Yes.
I already contacted our guest for next
It's
time,
happening.
and I warned him that I'm coming into this episode with some very weird energy.
It's finally happening.
We are watching Season 5, Episode 3, Jughead.
I
Wait,
cannot.
what? Another fucking cool episode? Yeah, hey, Luke, there's an episode where they acquire an atom bomb.
Yeah, that sounds way better than an appendectomy.
I can't wait for Jughead to be a big fucking goose egg. Like, I can't wait for it to be like one thing, and it's like, hey, there's an atom bomb here, and it's like, you should put that in a hole.
Oh man, Micah is coming back. I told him already. I'm like, if I'm screaming, I'm not screaming at you.
Right.
I'm screaming at the TV.
I'm not.
so.
Yeah, I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the situation.
Yeah. So
Luke, one more time, thank you again so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule, joining us here on Lost on Lost. It was an absolute pleasure.
I know we're almost done with Lost on Lost. We'll have to have you back for whatever it is we do next and give you something more interesting.
It's okay. You don't have to feel bad. I had a good time here. It was a great time.
Thank you for coming by. Thank you, Adam. And thank you, everyone out there, for tuning into another episode of Lost on Lost.
Yep, I'm Adam.
I'm JP.
Do you have any idea what's going on this show?
No.
Me neither. Lost on Lost is produced and edited by me and JP.
We wish to acknowledge that we live, work, and produce our show on occupied land.
Burbank, California is located on the traditional tribal lands of the Tongva, Chumash, Kizh, and Fernandino Tataviam peoples.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin is located on the traditional tribal lands of the Peoria, Potawatomi, Miama, and Ho-Chunk peoples.
And Lost was produced in Hawaii on the lands of the Kanaka Maoli.
Visit native-land.ca to learn more about the land you live and work on.
You can engage with us on IG, Facebook, and Twitter at Lost on Lost 1.
You can also email us at wearelostonlost@gmail.com or support us with dollar monies at coffee.com/wearelostonlost.
Thanks to Lostpedia and its community of contributors, Danny Schmitz, random.org, and as always, you the listeners for tuning in.
We're hosted at Podbean. You can hear us there or wherever you get your podcasts, except MySpace. We're not on MySpace.
Yet.